So in the final video, we're going to talk a little bit about implementing and assessing the flipped classroom. The goals for implementing a flipped classroom, my philosophy is being able to change the way integrated very quick on the fly. I'm constantly revising the classroom. In one situation, I was having trouble maneuvering through the classroom, so I decided, okay, I'm going to have tutorials. So I implemented inside the classroom tutorial. It's a kind of in-classroom flip in a way, but I put tutorials in, and about halfway through, and every day I try to go through 4 or 5 students, and over the course of a week I kind of interviewed all the students. There were advantages to that. It allowed, if a question came up, I could share it with the rest of the class, and it was a kind of efficient way of getting through getting more personal interactions with the students. I use a number of tools. We survey the students at the end, see how they're using and what kinds of problems they're having, and then based on that, we kind of revise some of this. I implemented Top Hat, which I'm going to try to use here as a way of getting more discussion. I didn't feel there was enough discussion in the class. Puzzle I tried to implement in order to have more interaction in the videos, and then YouTube I used as a way of sharing the videos both inside and outside the classroom. You can look at your classroom layout. I was not in a situation where I could control the layout, but you can rearrange the desk. I was just in a classroom recently where they had these desks on wheels where the students can kind of roll around and interact with whoever they want. There is a lot about classroom design related to flipped classroom. I haven't had much experience with that. I don't get the opportunity. So as I said, I redesigned myself and had the class students come to me rather than try to rearrange the class in a way that I could sort of wander through it. And for the future, I again, this idea of interactivity, I think, is the one key feature that I'm working on the most. In terms of the videos, I've been trying to subtitle my videos. In the United States, that's a law that requires that, but I think it's generally good practice as a way of getting students to be able to read the videos. Some of the students requested that. One of the students actually wrote out whole transcripts of the videos, so the subtitles could be a useful thing. Again, there's a question of interactivity, and I constantly try to upgrade the content. As issues come up and changes in the course, I have to introduce more content into content videos into the course. What's the classroom look like? Well, we did try to put in a studio model. The first thing we tried to do is have more writing. Instead of writing at home, they could write in the classroom. Ideally, this was going to allow them, if they had a question while they were writing, I was there, and then I could share the problem with the rest of the class. That didn't always work out, but that was the sort of model that we were trying to implement. As I said, we went from a class of tutorials. I actually took this idea from another course, a sort of unflipped course I was teaching, was to have more and more tutorials. I felt the students liked that kind of one-on-one interaction. So I put that as a station inside my own flipped classroom. And I think there was an attempt to get more collaboration as a way of having students work together on some of the material for the lectures. The larger questions of implementing a flipped classroom, one of the things that has come out is that it takes time, that the first time you do it, it's never going to work well. You have to kind of figure out what to motivate the students. And then the question that many people ask, does the classroom writing improve? I mean, I have no evidence. I had a paper rejected by the Journal of Writing Research because I had no proof. And so if you're trying to look, that's one of the issues you might want to look at, is to try to prove. A lot of the research on flipped classrooms has to do with improving test scores. We don't have test scores to improve, so there are issues we still haven't worked out about assessment. The videos, again, we look through the surveys very particularly on what students do with the videos, how often did they watch the videos, and trying to make them more interactive, and including another question teachers often raise is, how do you get students to watch the videos? We always attach some kind of assignment to the videos. If it was a grammar, we may attach a grammar assignment. If it was more content orientated, we may have them blog about their ideas that were raised in the video. And this is a kind of problem that it does exist with the videos, is kind of getting the students to use them. Again, changing the classroom. We really have to think about reorganizing the classroom, relaying out the classroom. I was in a situation where, I don't control the class, my class design, but I had a lot of problems, for example, with maneuvering through the class. That's just my problem, personal problem. So I changed it to adding the tutorials, and again, trying to get more questioning going on in the classroom. It didn't always work that way, but that was the goal. What do you need to assess the classroom? Again, there's been a lot of discussion about the isolation of teachers. So teachers need to be constantly learning and upgrading and often creating networks outside the classroom. My teachers never totally bought into this. When I moved on, they sort of abandoned the idea. And I've sort of been trying to work more on publication. There's a lot of research, and I do think that publications may incentivize teachers to become more interested in it. These are the kinds of questions then I'm going to use Top Hat. I won't go through all these questions, but these were some of the issues that I want to discuss with you. When you get there, you can look at them ahead of time, but we'll try to go over some of these issues in class. And these are the kinds of things I try to integrate into the videos. And here's some of the resources that we have with the flipped classroom. I have other resources that I'll share, but you can look at some of the organizations that are online, the Electronic Village, which is primarily for ESL teaching, my course videos, if you want to look at them, that I've created. And I created a course book. It's really, now it's a smaller book. I haven't really been updating it, but it contains all the videos and some of the explanations. And again, it's open. You can look at it. Unfortunately, I think it's difficult to download now, but if anyone's interested, contact me and I can send you the ebook. So that's the introduction. Hopefully you'll get through these videos, and I'll see you in Antwerp.